Today, we are going to be looking at the common challenges faced by dairy farmers in Uganda. Let us start off with starvation of animals. Starvation in simple terms is hunger. Animals are hungry. What causes starvation is poor pasture management. The farmers overgraze their pastures. You find pastures chronically infested by weeds, and if there are weeds in the pastures, it means the animals are not going to get enough pasture feeds. In a dairy farm, what shows starvation is animals are going to chronically lose weight. You will find an animal with a low body condition score. It is going to reduce milk production and to also increase susceptibility to diseases. You will find animals all the time they are getting sick because they are being starved. So how do you solve this starvation problem? Solution to this is through paddocking. That is the first solution. So we are going to divide our pasture lands into paddocks, different paddocks, depending on your land size and the number of animals you have. So if we have 4 paddocks, animals graze here in the first 2 weeks. Then the second 2 weeks they'll graze in this paddock. Then the third they'll go here, and finally the fourth. By the time they reach here, it means the pastures in our first paddock have grown. Okay? Then the process continues. We are also supposed to weed our pastures, weeding pastures. Weeding pastures creates room for more pastures to establish. The pasture will expand and give you more feeds. Yes, the weeds will stop competing with the pastures, meaning our pastures will grow better if they are not having weeds in them. The third solution is to shift to a semi-intensive system. A semi-intensive system is where the animals will go out and graze, and then they get supplemented later in the evening. And how do you achieve this is, first of all, to plant those extra pastures that you're going to give to the animals later in the evening when they come back from grazing. The other system is the zero grazing system, but zero grazing requires a lot of resources. If you can afford, you can shift directly to zero grazing system. That gives you better land use and more pastures to feed to your animals. The second challenge we are going to look at is poor management. Poor management starts from a human resource. It goes to enterprise management. You find most farmers, they are not evaluating their enterprises, seeing how they are performing. They do not know which worker is in charge of what. In terms of decision making, in terms of resource allocation, time management, and very many other decisions that you're supposed to take on the farm, you find farmers doing this informally. So they do not know, they do this informally. They do not know who is supposed to do what, or what resources are supposed to be where. And it is a very big challenge because if you do this, you will find out that most of the resources on the farm are not efficiently allocated. So how do we solve this? What is the solution to poor management? The first thing to do is structure your farm. You have a farm manager that has at least a diploma in agriculture. If the worst goes to the worst, at least let them have a certificate, but it should be in agriculture. If your farm manager has at least a certificate in agriculture or a diploma, they will have a background and they know what they are going to be doing. Then the other solution is to keep proper records. Keep proper records. The purpose of record keeping on the farm is to help in evaluation and resource allocation. You will know which enterprise is performing well, which enterprise is not performing well. In doing that, you will know where to allocate what resources. The third challenge is land fragmentation. Land fragmentation is when you find a farm has different plots of land in different areas, simply because the people who had previously occupied that land had separated the land into smaller plots. Now, land fragmentation causes inefficiencies in movement of labor, movement of materials, movement of pastures. And in addition to that, if enterprises are scattered all over the area, you will find that there is a lot of encroachment. People will come and steal your animals from the neighbors, will come and feed on the pastures that you grew, and these are all losses. Scattered plots also force workers to carry these heavy materials over long distances multiple times in a day. That does not only make them tired, but it also causes inefficiency. You'll find instead of giving a cow 30 kilograms a day, they are giving it only 10 because of that long distance. So what is the solution to this? The solution to land fragmentation. Now what we are going to do here is to consolidate. You're going to put the major dairy project on the main farmland, okay? The biggest, the most productive farmland, okay? And after doing that, you're going to fence off the small plots that you have scattered everywhere else. So you will fence off all the land. Okay, now I think you can see why this is a challenge. All these are costs. Fencing off this land is a cost. After fencing off that land, you're going to make sure that what you produce in this scattered land is light pastures. Light pastures are those pastures that we normally make hay out of. Yeah, pastures like Bracharia species, pastures like alfalfa, pastures like guinea grass, pastures like Chloris guyana, and very many other pastures. So we shall plant these pastures in these scattered plots so that when we go to harvest, we harvest at once, we dry them, we bale them, and transport them back to the main farm all at once, instead of going there every now and then to carry pastures for the animals. Now the fourth challenge is poor biosecurity. Poor biosecurity is workers, visitors, and everyone else has free access to anywhere on the farm. There are no quarantine protocols. We cannot isolate sick animals. We do not have footbaths at the entrance. We do not have fences, clear fences. We do not have clear boundaries. In addition to that, you find tools and equipment being shared without any clear disinfection. And in so doing, you find that farmers are facing a rapid spread of diseases. Yes, even new diseases can be introduced on the farm. For our dairy production, this will result into reduced milk. That is the first thing, reduced milk production. And secondly, it is going to increase veterinary costs. And remember, we are doing this farming as a business. And if you're having reduced milk production, it means you're cutting on the income. If you're having increased veterinary costs, it means you're increasing the expenditures. When you balance these two, you'll find that at the end of the month or at the end of the year, you're making losses from. To summarize this, we have looked at animal starvation, and we are solving this through establishment of pastures, paddocking, and shifting to a semi-intensive system. We have also looked at poor management in terms of enterprise, in terms of human resource. So here we said have a clear structure, keep proper records, and so that you can make proper decisions on resource allocation. The third challenge was land fragmentation. We said we shall solve land fragmentation by consolidating the major dairy operation on the biggest farmland, and then we fence off the remaining plots and produce light pastures from there so that we can harvest all of them at once and then we take them directly to the farm. And finally, we have looked at biosecurity, poor biosecurity. We are going to solve poor biosecurity by having a clear quarantine protocol, disinfecting the tools that we use on the farm, and having regular veterinary checks. And once again, I am Francis from Directs. If you want to consult us, we are located in Wakiso Town along Hoima Road. Always contact us on that number so that you can learn more about having a profitable dairy farm enterprise. Thank you.